G'day there ladies and gents, it's Connie here again from Marky Industries and we are back with some more stories from Reddit. As always, if you enjoy these videos, be sure to hit like and subscribe, and also the notification bell so you never miss an episode. Alrighty, let's get right into it. Alrighty folks, we're on Am I the A-hole today. This one was written by user ForalSkelt14 and it's titled, Am I the A-hole for refusing to hang out less with my brothers because of my stepsister? I, 18 female, am the youngest of 4 siblings. I have 3 older brothers, Michael, 28, John, 27, and Chris, 25. Our mother passed away when I was 8, and since then my father, 53, and my brothers have been quite protective of me. I had father-daughter date nights with my dad and movie nights with my brothers, among other things. I think that was their way of making sure I didn't feel lonely. Last year, my father got married to Melissa, 45. She, with her daughter Ashley, 18, moved in with us. I always got the sense that Ashley didn't like me. She would talk to my dad and my brothers, but she never talked to me. Whenever I tried to talk to her, she would answer curtly and then walk away. I never understood why, or if I did something to her. But after a few weeks of trying to get along with her without success, I gave up. We were civil to each other and that was enough. My brothers were also on the fence about her. She keeps insisting to be invited to our movie nights, but she would always demand to see a movie she liked, even if none of us liked it, and she kept trying to cuddle with my brothers, which they find uncomfortable and weird because they don't really know her. Chris actually told her to knock it off because he didn't like that she was so touchy with him. Recently, I had my 18th birthday. It was fun and low-key, and I got wonderful gifts. The next day, Ashley came to me and told me that it was unfair that my brother's gifts to me were better than their gifts to her for her birthday last June. For context, my brothers each gave her a $200 gift card to different stores so that she can buy what she liked, because they didn't really know her. They gave her gifts to be civil. My brothers got me a personalized perfume, a signed copy of an entire book series that I've been obsessed about lately, and a personalized planner with messages and quotes on each page. I will admit that they put more thoughts into my gifts, but I think it's fair since they don't really know her. But then Ashley started crying, saying that I always got everything and she got nothing, and she then demanded I stop hanging out with them and said that if I didn't hang out with my brothers so much, then they would pay more attention to her. She also wanted me to tell them to treat her like they treated me because she was also their sister now. I told her that I won't force my brothers to do something they didn't like. She insisted that I call my brothers right that moment to tell them that I would hang out less with them and that they should get Ashley better gifts. I refused. Apparently she told her friends and cousins because I've been getting messages from them telling me I'm a spoiled, selfish kid, so I'm second-guessing myself. So, am I the a-hole? Opie adds some more info. Hi, Opie here. Thank you to everyone who commented and messaged me. I really appreciate it. I can't reply to all of the comments, but I just want to answer some of the questions that I read. The most common one was where was my dad in all of this? Before this incident, I did not tell my dad anything because I believed that there was nothing to tell. Ashley was curt with me, but I didn't expect her to immediately like me, and she did not bully me before this incident, so I just chalked it up to awkwardness since we were basically strangers. Also, as a mini update, I did talk to my dad and brothers. My dad was angry and shocked. My brothers were livid. I told them everything and showed them the screenshots of the messages. My dad hugged me and apologized that I had to go through this. My brothers wanted to come home immediately and confront Ashley, but my dad told them all to calm down. He said he wanted to talk to Melissa first, and he and Melissa can talk to Ashley tomorrow, but he promised that we'll all definitely sit down and talk about this. I have a feeling things are going to get messy when they talk with Ashley tomorrow, so wish me luck. Yeah, that's weird, goes without saying. I think Ashley's probably jealous of Opie and her relationship with her brothers and her dad, but she's going about it in a really creepy and entitled way. Let's look at the comments. Not the a-hole. Why is your stepsister so concerned with having a good relationship with your brothers but not you? I find that behaviour so weird. I don't like to jump to conclusions, but this need to get along with your brothers and being jealous of the relationship you have with them screams insecure to me. She's practically a stranger to all of you. Over time, the relationship between all you should naturally develop, but she can't be expected to be treated like a sister already, especially when she's so cold towards you. I'm pretty sure your brothers pick up on that, and it'll only make them like her less. Your stepsis needs to back way off. I don't even want to start with the fact that she tried to cuddle with your brothers. That's a whole other story. Not the a-hole. What the hell is wrong with Ashley? She's acting weird and low-key creepy. Your brothers don't owe her any affection or gifts. Being jealous of their affection for you is weird. Trying to bond with your adult stepbrothers by cuddling with them is weird. Crying on your birthday and demanding that your brothers ditch you for her is weird. Sounds like she's trying to take your place in your sibling dynamic. Or weirder, she has crushes on your brothers and is jealous that they're not paying attention to her. Whichever is still bad. On to an update. Hello, thanks everyone who's commented and messaged me. Your suggestions and advice are really appreciated. I did post it in the comments, but for those who didn't see it, I did tell my brothers and father about what Ashley did, and my father said he would talk to Melissa first, and they would talk to Ashley the next day. The day after I told my dad, we all had a talk. Contrary to what we all thought, Ashley didn't even deny it. She just basically repeated what she told me. She sounds like a broken record at this point. My dad told her that while he understands that she might feel excluded because my brothers and I were so close, demanding that I spend less time with my brothers and bullying me through her friends and relatives was so wrong. Melissa started talking, apologizing for what Ashley did. She said she knows it was wrong, but she was hoping that we could all forgive her because she's just having a hard time with the changes in her life. Michael pointed out that they did want a good relationship with her at first, but if this is how she's going to treat me, she could just forget it. All my brothers also opened up about how they were so uncomfortable with her trying to be so touchy with them. My father suggested therapy, but Ashley refused and started screaming. At this point, I think my father had enough and said that she should go to therapy and work out her issues or she wouldn't be living in this house. That shut us all up. Melissa asked my dad if he was serious and he said yes. He said he loved her and he was concerned about Ashley, but he won't allow his daughter to be bullied in his own house. Ashley looked really shocked. She would be going to a local college and she planned to stay at home so she could save rent, so this must have bothered her a lot. She started blaming me and started to walk towards me and tried to grab me, but all of my brothers got between us. John coldly told her that while our father was trying to be kind, that he would do no such thing, and if she touched me, he would throw her in jail faster than she could blink. He's a lawyer, so Ashley knows that this was not an empty threat. She backed off and walked to her room and slammed the door. The next day, Ashley went to therapy. I don't know if Melissa forced her or if she just didn't want to get kicked out, but oh well, at least she's going. She's been ignoring us this past few days, which is completely fine with me. As for my brothers, the day Ashley started therapy, she also started texting them, playing the pity card, but they all blocked her. As for me, I'm doing very well. This whole fiasco kinda made us all forget that I'm going away to college in a few days, and now my father and brothers are kind of acting frantic and in mother hen modes, lol. I don't know if this was the update you all expected. This is a very summarized version, and if you have more questions, I'd be happy to answer them in the comments. Thank you all so much. One comment says, "Thanks for the update. Her behaviour is very disturbing. Sounds like she might be a narcissist. I would read up on them. They are destructive and dangerous." I honestly don't think this will end well. She does not want to fix things. She's only going to therapy because she's forced to, not because she sees that her behaviour is wrong. Sooner or later she will explode against you for stealing her family. Your father and siblings are on your side, and that is the important thing, although your father is dragging out the divorce because he knows there's no solution. Opie makes another post titled, "Am I the a-hole for getting my stepsister arrested after she stole my earrings?" For context, I am the youngest of 3 siblings. I have 3 brothers, 28, 27 and 25. Our mum passed away when I was 8. Last year my dad married Melissa and she and her daughter from a previous marriage, Ashley, came to live with my dad and me. Barely a month ago, I actually made a post here because Ashley was hysterically forcing me to stop hanging out with my brothers because she wanted them to pay more attention to her. She blames me for everything and repeatedly told me that I was preventing her from bonding with my brothers. We all sat down and talked. Ashley went to therapy and I went to college, but I know she still despises me. Now to the current issue. A little bit over a month ago, I turned 18. My maternal grandparents gave me a family heirloom. It was a pair of diamond earrings. It used to belong to my mother, but since she was unable to give it to me, my grandmother held onto it until my 18th birthday. I keep it in a locked drawer in my room. Yesterday, Ashley and Melissa went to a wedding. I knew because Melissa made a Facebook post. I didn't think much of it, but in one of her posts, I saw Ashley wearing a pair of very familiar earrings. I know it's bad to accuse people without proof, but I just immediately knew that those were my earrings. I called my dad and my brothers and informed them and went home. I called Melissa and told her about the situation, but she didn't quite believe me because Ashley had told her that she borrowed the earrings from one of her friends. When I got home, I saw that the drawer had been busted open and my earrings were gone. We checked the security camera in the hallway. I had one installed because of previous events, and it did show Ashley going into my room and then coming out a few minutes later. I was a bit frantic. My dad called Ashley and demanded that she returned my earrings. She denied it at first, but when he told her that we had video footage, she began to get defensive, saying that she just borrowed them and that I wasn't using them anyway. She then blocked my dad and Melissa wasn't answering her phone either. I was debating whether to go to the wedding that instant when my brothers, who were quite fed up with Ashley at this point, told me that we should go to the police station and file a report for theft. I was quite reluctant at first, but then I remembered that those earrings were something my mother had left for me and she had taken it without asking permission. We went to the station and filed a report and showed them the security footage. This morning, Ashley was taken to the police station for questioning. Ashley and Melissa are still at the station, and I've been getting calls and texts from her relatives that I was dramatic and that I shamed their family because a lot of the guests who were staying at the hotel saw the police officers. Yeah, sometimes people need something like this to actually wake up to themselves. Maybe this is the reality check Ashley needed. Let's read some comments. Not the a-hole. Ashley is a nightmare and needs to learn there are consequences for theft. She stole from you. Tell any relatives that say you shamed the family by reporting the theft that Ashley shamed the family by being a common thief. Tell them once and then block all communication. You should have a serious talk with Dad about whether or not he's going to allow Ashley to remain in the family home. Don't get talked into dropping charges. Please update when this concludes. I'm sorry you're going through this. Not the a-hole. How else were you supposed to resolve the issue when Ashley was blocking people and Melissa wasn't answering her phone? Ashley is a thief, and it didn't sound like she or her mother were in a hurry to give back your earrings. Let's not forget that Ashley literally broke a drawer to get your earrings. Do you at least have the earrings now? With Ashley's behaviour, it's easy to believe those earrings would have ended up missing, and you would have never got them back without involving law enforcement. Not the a-hole. She broke into a locked drawer to take them, lied about it, and then blocked the calls. She stole from you something that was very important sentimentally. She's now experiencing the consequences of those actions. Maybe she'll learn something from it, but no matter what, you have clearly defined your boundaries, which is important. Don't let anyone guilt trip you about this. Yeah, important sentimentally, but also economically important. I'm sure those diamonds aren't cheap. Okay, let's go to an update. Hi everyone, it's been a few days since my last post. My original post got locked and I wasn't going to update, but I received so many messages asking for one and telling me I could post the update on my profile, so here it goes. A lot happened, so to anyone still reading this, buckle up, this will be quite long. First of all, the question everyone has been asking, yes, I did get my earrings back. They are now in a safer place. Next, I don't know all the specifics in the legal side of things, since my brother handled most of it, but here are the details. The earrings cost quite a bit. Apparently my grandparents had it certified and they had all the documents, and so Ashley was in quite a bit of trouble. Some of you are going to say I'm making this up or I'm lying, but I don't have a complete understanding of how the legal system works, so I'm mostly saying what my dad and brother explained to me. I don't know what happened, but because A, she'd just turned 18, B, it was her first offence, and C, the earrings were returned, she was given leniency and was given community service and had to pay a fine. This will also be on her record. This is all right with me, to be honest. I wanted her to know that actions have consequences, but I don't want to ruin her whole life. At least now she knows that she can't just do whatever she wants. My father, who was at the station, told me that Ashley was kicking and screaming the whole time. At first, she stuck to her story that she borrowed it from her friend, but the police showed her the video evidence, and plus the fact that she could not name a friend whom she supposedly borrowed the earrings from. Also, the earrings were in a personalized engraved box, which she had with her. She also, honest to God, as my dad said, tried to run away while the officers were talking to her and bit the officer that tried to stop her, so she had to spend the night at that little jail at the station until she apologised. I'll be honest and say this entertained me a lot. Yes, it's bad to laugh at other people's misfortunes, but hey, I'm only human. Melissa, Dad's wife, told us that she was extremely disappointed in all of us. She said she knows that what Ashley did was in a grey area, her words, but that we could have waited until she returned it and not escalate things. My brother, the eldest, then asked her that if she didn't want us to escalate things, then why did she end the call and stopped answering her phone that night? She had no answer to this and just kept repeatedly saying that we should make considerations for family. She even added that Ashley looked pretty in the earrings and that diamonds should be used and should not just be locked up in a drawer. This leads me to believe that she knew Ashley took my earrings from the very start and just let it be. Sadly, I have no way to prove this. My dad is divorcing her. They had a prenup, so I don't think she's getting much, and I hope this will be settled quickly. Ashley has been messaging me mean things, just her usual spiel. I did not block her, but I don't read the messages. We're planning to use this for a restraining order against her, since we all believe that she might try to contact us again. As of now, they are out of the house. Melissa is still asking my dad to reconsider. Dad said that he can't have a thief live in his house, and that no matter what, his children are his first priority, and he feels that Ashley is a danger to me and my brothers. Melissa tried to contact me and my brothers, but we've all blocked her. This has become quite a circus, and I sincerely hope that this whole thing is coming to an end. I hope this is my last post here. Thank you so much to everyone who has commented and messaged me asking about my well-being. I truly appreciate it, and I'm very thankful for all the advice and well wishes. Edit, I received a few messages asking if Ashley didn't know that there was a camera in the hallway. I don't know, but I never explicitly told her, hey, there's a security camera in there, but they are in plain view and are not hidden, and I don't see how anyone could mistake them for anything else. A few people also asked why was there a security camera in the first place. Well, a few years back, our neighbourhood had multiple burglaries. During this time, I was often home alone from the time I got home from school to the time my dad would arrive from work. My father and brothers got a bit overprotective and had them installed. They were never taken down. After my first post in Am I the A-hole, a lot of Redditors messaged me and advised me to be cautious because Ashley might try to steal something. Well, they were right, so I double-checked that they were working. Thank you to everyone messaging me and asking about our well-being, and also thank you all for your advice. I truly appreciate it. Some more comments. I'm glad your father is divorcing Melissa, and good on him for having signed a prenup that means Melissa would only get back what she brought into the marriage, which is most likely her and Ashley's belongings. Also, I would show your father and brother the messages you received from Ashley's side of the family to see if you can file a harassment lawsuit, because they're definitely going to up their harassment now that your father is divorcing Melissa. Also, inform your college security about Melissa and Ashley, just in case they try something there. I also have a question. Where is Ashley's biological dad in all of this? Did he die, or is he not in the picture? If I was your family, I'd look into the bio dad to see if Ashley's behaviour was always this crazy. That could help you in this case. Sorry for the long comment. Your situation is insane. There's something definitely wrong with Melissa and Ashley and their side of the family if they think this behaviour is okay. Hey, it seems like it's finally getting resolved and hopefully things will settle down, but I don't want to be the paranoid one here. I think this isn't over, and you should take some steps to protect yourself. 1. Definitely tell friends and family the situation. Make sure they don't tell Ashley or Melissa where you are, especially for a reconciliation. 2. Lock down your social media for the time being. 3. Let your college know the situation and that they aren't allowed near you. 4. Share your location with family should anything happen. 5. I'm not sure if you're allowed pepper spray or if you want to carry one. There's little key and phone chains with a loud panic alarm attached that you could carry around with you if that's more comfortable. And 6. Know how to defend yourself. But anyways, these are just things to keep in mind. Ashley's behaviour is absolutely unhinged, nor is it normal. It doesn't help that her mum keeps enabling her. There's been a lot of stories where the situation escalated. Please just stay safe and keep an eye open. Yeah, all good advice. Now for a new update. First of all, I want to thank everyone for all the support and the well wishes. They are very heartwarming. So I didn't expect Ashley to suddenly change, but I had hoped that they would at least leave us alone. Spoiler, they didn't. I'm at university, and these things didn't happen to me, but to my brothers. Just so anyone doesn't get confused, my brothers are Michael, 28, John, 27, and Chris, 25. Just for context, Michael and Chris live in the same apartment complex, but in different apartments, while John lives in a different one, which is closer to his work. Both apartments have this system that you need an elevator card. I don't know what it's called, but it's a card given to the tenants so they can access the floor that their apartment is on. If you're a guest, you should either be given the card by the tenant, or your name should be left to the doorman so that they know to send you up. A few days ago, Chris gets a call from the doorman telling him his sister has come to see him. He was confused because he thought I was at school. He sends me a quick text asking where I am, and I answer that I'm at a university. He tells me to have fun and stops texting. I found out later via group chat that, of course, it was Ashley. Chris told the doorman to never send her up. He says she then left a message asking him to meet up because she wants to apologize. A few minutes later, John chats, informs us that the same thing happened to him just later in the day, so we think Ashley might have gone to John's apartment after she left from Chris's. From my first post, a lot of Redditors warned me to never let my brothers be alone with her because she might accuse them of sexual abuse. This truly frightened me, and so I reminded my brothers again that even if they agree to meet her, which I still don't think they should not do it alone, and they should definitely do it in a public place. They still haven't agreed on what to do. John and Chris don't want to, but Michael was thinking that maybe this could be closure for Ashley, that maybe if they meet with her, this will be over, and that she'll finally leave us alone. So to all of you still reading this, do you think they should meet with her? No, I don't think so. Closure's only going to benefit her. I think given her previous behaviour, thinking that she's just going to let it go after apologising is wishful thinking. What do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Either way, we're going to wrap that one up and move on to another story. Okie dokie, same subreddit. This one was written by user H5Rai, and it's titled, Am I the a-hole for calling my niece my baby? I, 23 female, recently visited home for my niece's 7th birthday party. I live about an hour away from my hometown for college, and I'm currently pursuing my master's before I go into law school. This is all to say that I see my family maybe once or twice a year due to classes and me working 2 jobs. My niece's birthday was 2 weekends ago, and she and I are quite close. I spent a lot of time babysitting her when I was younger and still at home because my brother and sister-in-law both worked jobs. My classes were all online due to COVID, so it was natural for me to become the instinctive babysitter. I was happy to do so because I loved my niece and wanted to lighten the load of my brother and sister-in-law's emotional and physical loads. My family, sister-in-law and brother included, knew I would be attending my niece's birthday party as a surprise. When she saw me, she ran up to me and shrieked happily. I wrapped her up in a big hug and said, "Hi, my baby," before giving her a smooch. I sent her off afterwards to mingle with her guests like a proper host, lol. I then sat with my own family and caught up with them. Later, my sister-in-law seemed distant and annoyed with me. Before presents, she pulled me aside and asked me not to call my niece my baby again because she found it offensive. I profusely apologized as soon as she said so and promised I wouldn't do so again. I spent the rest of the party calling her sweetie or just by her name. I'm an extremely affectionate person. I call my niece and nephew an array of terms of endearment, both including my baby. I've called both of them this occasionally before, around family, and no one has said anything. To be honest, sweetie as sweetheart is more common for me, but this isn't the first time. I never say stuff like "you're my baby," "this is my baby," etc. I usually word it like "of course my baby," "hi my baby," and "yes my baby," etc. My sister-in-law is still mad at me and later called me a horrible aunt in person for calling my niece my baby. I tried explaining it was just a term of endearment and saying I meant no harm, but she seemingly does not care and keeps calling me horrible. It's breaking my heart because I've tried apologizing and making it up, but my sister-in-law swears I'm out to get her. I don't know why she thinks this. I've done nothing but look after her and my niece. I just wish she would listen to me instead of icing me out. Am I the a-hole for calling my niece my baby as a term of endearment? Edit, while I understand this might not be a common term for some families, I'm not the only one who refers to my niece like this. This is the first time it's been brought up. It was also only said to me, not to anyone else who calls my niece this on occasion, and I immediately adhered to my sister-in-law's requests, but she's still continuing to berate me and refuse my apologies. I'm really at a loss here with what to do going forward. Let's go to the comments. Okay, you used a term of endearment for your niece, her mother didn't like it, asked you to stop, and you apologised and stopped. Now she's icing you out, which you can't do anything about further because, again, you've apologised and corrected your actions. Not the a-hole for this isolated incident, but do you have a pattern of being overly fond or surpassing or ignoring boundaries and recycling disliked behaviour? If not, I really don't see the problem here. Opie replies, "Thank you so much for your thoughts. I do not have a pattern of ignoring boundaries whatsoever. I'm kind of the most communicative one of the family. I 100% understood my sister-in-law was setting a boundary when she pulled me aside and knew to respect it because at the end of the day, she's the parent, not me. This has never happened with us before, to be honest, which is making it so much more disorienting, you know? Also, me and my younger sibling are much closer in age than me and my older brother, so this definitely has not stemmed out of our sibling dynamic at least. She's not as close with her siblings and has distant parents, so maybe the general involvement of my family overall has affected her. This is just speculation on my behalf though, because she hasn't said any of that to me." You say your niece is 7 and you are 23, so how long has it been since you've gone off to college and how much time do you spend together? I'm not saying you've done anything wrong because you haven't. When called out, you apologised and corrected. What I'm suggesting is that if you babysat regularly for long periods of time, there is a chance that your niece has been missing you more now that you've been gone than she had missed your sister-in-law, her mother, and there could be a chance that you saying "my baby" triggered some jealousy and resentment from your sister-in-law, like how sometimes kids are closer to their nannies than their workaholic parents who don't even know their favourite food. I chose an extreme example to make the explanation easier if it helps. Opie replies, "So I've been away for coming up to 3 years now. When my niece was an infant, my sister-in-law and brother actually lived with us for a little over a year, and I babysat her almost daily while they worked. When they moved out, I saw her about once or twice every weekend because my brother and sister-in-law would visit then. I still talk to my family and niece about once a week, and I do have time where I talk to just my niece on FaceTime because she takes my brother and sister-in-law's phone to chat with me, lol. I'm definitely thinking I struck a nerve that I didn't know was there, and I'm really just hoping that with time she'll be willing to talk to me about whatever is going on." Not the a-hole. You were saying this because she's a child that you love. I had friends and family say this about my kids and I love it. But I can get if your sister-in-law didn't dig it. Not everyone feels the same as me. She voiced her concern and you respected it. You apologised. It seems to me that she's maybe jealous of the special relationship that the two of you have. My kids adore their aunties and sometimes treat them nicer than they do me. I get it because I was the same way as a kid, and I see it as how we are lucky to have a village. Some mamas aren't like that. I would just shrug it off and not bring it up if you can, and keep on loving your sweet niece and using other terms of affection for her. Opie replies, "Thank you. I've been kind of freaking out about my relationship with my niece because it's already been hard for her over the past 3 years with me being inaccessible due to distance while I'm at school. I'm hoping that my sister-in-law will either ignore it or be open to have an open discussion with me later to the holidays when I'm planning on visiting again, so there's no bad blood or whatever. She's not super close with her family, and she and I are the only girls of both of our families, which bonded us in the first place, so I'm hoping we can get back to that despite this bump in the road." My sister-in-law refers to my baby as hers all the time. She tells people who don't know us that she's her baby, and it makes me really uncomfortable and I don't like it. I can understand why she is bothered by this. However, this does seem like a completely different situation, and once you were asked to stop, you apologised and respected her wishes. I'm going to say not the a-hole. Opie replies, "I'm genuinely so sorry your sister-in-law has done this. I was a sociology major in my undergrad, so I literally studied the impact of social situations such as this one, and I think I've done my very best to support and uplift my sister-in-law's role as a mother to my nibblings. I understood immediately when she told me to back off, which is why I did, and it honestly kind of broke my heart to think I may have made her doubt herself. I want so badly for her to speak with me so that she can understand I never had this intent to possibly make her feel the way your sister-in-law makes you feel. I'm thinking of you and hoping that your sister-in-law backs off because this is insane behaviour. I really do appreciate your feedback with your history and situations similar to mine. Okay, enough of the comments. Let's go to an update 2 days later. Update, my sister-in-law and I have made up. I decided to send her a heartfelt text explaining that I was still sorry and sorta upset over us being at odds over something I said. We ended up texting back and forth and then FaceTiming. So sister-in-law told me that she's realised over the past 2 years how much of my niece's infancy she missed out on. She's been able to be a lot more present with my little nephew than she could be with my niece, and she admitted she felt jealous that I got to basically be a third parent to my niece. I watched my niece basically 7 AM to 5 PM, 5 days a week for a long time when she was just a baby, and my sister-in-law had been feeling guilty that she had to work so much and that I'd been the one looking after my niece so much. I told her vehemently that I did not want to overstep or to be seen as anything other than an aunt because she's a great mum, and I respect her much more than that. She told me she knew that, but that the day of the party had just been so long, and with her guilt, she just snapped at me. I also did apologise again for calling niece my baby, and sister-in-law said she didn't want to hear it because it was out of the blue, and I had no idea how she was feeling. I waved her off and told her I still felt sorry, and said I would be refraining from that nickname in the future because I have plenty of other ways to dote on my niece. We were both teary and sappy, lol, and we made plans to have a girls' day, just me and her, when I visit around the holidays. Thank you everyone who gave me advice and perspective. Happy ending. You love to see it. Communication for the win, I say. As always, I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments. Maybe you got a similar story you'd like to share. Otherwise, we're going to move on again. Okay, still on Am I the A-hole? This one was written by user Midgear, and it's titled, Am I the A-hole for refusing to contact my estranged father? I, 36 female, have a long and complicated history with my father. To give some context, I wasn't even his first family. Before he married my mum, he was married to someone else and had 2 kids with her. He left them, married my mum, and had my sister and me. Then, when I was 6, he divorced my mum too. After the divorce, he stayed in my life, but I was more of a prop for him to show off that he was a family man rather than actually being a parent. It felt like he used my sister and me to attract his next wife, whom he married not long after. That woman was incredibly mentally abusive towards me. It got so bad that I stopped living with my dad part-time and only saw him occasionally. That marriage ended when I turned 18, and since then my father has gotten married 3 more times. I eventually cut him off entirely because he's always been a self-centered, manipulative person who made my life miserable. I needed to distance myself for my own mental well-being. Recently, I was contacted by his current wife. Apparently my father left her and her 5-year-old son, I'm not related to the child, to move to Thailand, where he's now living with another person. His wife has been pleading with me to get in touch with him and convince him to come back. She's clearly struggling and in a rough spot. I've already explained to her that this is what he does. He leaves families behind and moves on. I told her he's not worth her time, but there's an added complication. He brought her and her son over from China, and I think her citizenship might be tied to their marriage. This makes me feel even worse because she's in a vulnerable position and likely terrified about what could happen to her and her son. While I do sympathise with her situation, I just can't bring myself to get involved. My father has left multiple families in his wake, and I don't see how contacting him would make any difference. He's shown time and time again that he's not capable of being a decent person. I really don't want to open that door again or get dragged into his chaos, but I do feel a bit guilty because his wife and her son are now facing the fallout from his actions. So, am I the a-hole for refusing to contact my father and staying out of this situation? Yeah, I mean, even if Opie chooses to get involved, I don't really see her doing much about it. Like, it sounds like the father's very much made up his mind on what he's doing next, and I don't know. Surely there's other, government assistance that this woman can get. One comment says, what state she is in so she can talk to her caseworker about getting her citizenship. Did they get a divorce? If not, they might be able to help her and her son, not the a-hole. Opie says, she and her son live in Hawaii. I don't think a divorce happened, he just left. Absolutely not the a-hole. Your dad seems to treat marriages like they're on a subscription plan. New one every few years with no refunds. You've done your part by warning her about his pattern, but you're not obligated to clean up his mess. Protecting your own mental health doesn't make you the villain here. If anything, you're just refusing to sign up for another season of his personal soap opera. Opie makes an update 2 days later. First, I want to thank everyone who took the time to read my original post and offer their advice. It really helped me process the situation and solidify my decision. After a lot of thought, I decided to reach out to my father's current wife to provide more support in other ways. I reiterated to her what I know about my father's history with women and families. I made it clear that his pattern of behaviour isn't new, and she's unfortunately not the first to go through this. I also suggested that she seek out any social assistance that may be available to her and her son, especially since they might be in a vulnerable situation due to their immigration status. Additionally, I advised her to contact a lawyer to get legal help with her citizenship situation and anything else that might arise from this mess. However, I made it clear that I'll not be contacting my father. I explained that doing so would not help and would likely cause more harm than good for everyone involved, including myself. I know from experience that he isn't going to change his behaviour, and trying to convince him to come back would only drag me back into the chaos I worked so hard to distance myself from. I still feel awful about her situation and wish I could do more to help, but I've decided to stick to my boundaries and protect my own mental health. I hope she finds the support she needs to move forward. So that's where things stand now. Thanks again for all the feedback. I'm still feeling conflicted, but I think this is the best course of action for everyone. And some final comments. I wish nothing but only sadness and misery for this jerk excuse of a father. The dad is just a massive steaming pile of twice digested crap. He's clearly not someone who gives a frick about anyone aside from himself, so I don't believe there's anything Opie could do to fix this. I would bet Opie's dad is one of those dudes who complains all the time about how unfair child support laws and family court is. Yeah, I tend to agree with that sentiment. What about you guys? Let me know your thoughts down below. Anyway, moving on again. Alright, this one was posted on Pointless Stories. It's written by user UsedEstablishment92, and it's titled, "My son only eats foods that I throw at him." Just to be clear, I'm not whipping ham hocks at him. My 14-month-old son thinks it's funny to throw food from his high chair, so funny that he'll forget to eat it. He's got a pretty good arm too, for a baby. About a week ago he was eating blueberries and cut up pieces of strawberry and watermelon, and he kept throwing them at me. Finally, I got fed up and tossed a blueberry back at him. It bounced off his chest, he looked down at it, then back up at me, and broke into the hardest laugh I've ever seen come out of him. I threw a few more pieces of fruit and he was cracking up, but then he reached into his high chair and ate a whole handful of it. Normally he would just eat one bite at a time. This went on and on until he'd eaten everything that didn't fall on the floor. We've been keeping this up for the past week. Sometimes I try to throw the food right into his mouth, but so far I've missed every time. I'll be honest though, I'm a little worried about tomorrow because it's spaghetti night. Edit. Wow, I'm surprised this got so much attention. I'm tossing breakfast at him now. Eggs, fruit and toast. But I'll post an update after spaghetti time. I don't feel comfortable putting a picture of him on the internet, so you'll just have to use your imaginations. Edit 2. Some people are worried he might choke if I throw food in his mouth. I'm a really bad shot, lol, but I also had to learn baby Heimlich and CPR because his older sister has such a sensitive gag reflex and choked on food constantly. Like her gag reflex is so bad she has to have a warning on her chart when she goes to the dentist because she'll throw up or gag if you touch the back of her mouth. When he started eating solid food, I didn't want to take any chances, so I also bought a thing called LiveVac that apparently sucks objects out of a baby's throat if they're choking. I've never had to use it, but it's right next to his high chair just in case. I appreciate all the concern for my baby though. Thank you for looking out for him. Let's read some comments. This is my favourite Pointless story in weeks. Adorable and funny. I love the mental image of you trying to Kobe spaghetti into a baby's mouth. Haha. Get a mat. They make them specifically to go under the high chair. It'll make cleanup a lot easier for the floor at least. Super frickin' cute, but just as a precautionary tip, remember he's still so young that if you do yeet something into his mouth, be careful with anything that could get lodged in there. I remember my firstborn choking on a bit of apple pie when she was around that age, and at the time I hadn't learned CPR for a young child and was absolutely helpless. Thankfully one of her uncles was there to save the day, but that day will be forever burned into my mind. Yeah, I remember once I almost died choking on a bit of steak. I was probably like 5 or 6, but still, Mum did the Heimlich on me and I survived, thankfully. Let's go to an update. Well, spaghetti night was a success, as long as you define success as he ate the food. I was surprised that he immediately started eating it without having to play our little game first. I made him a plate with a couple little twirls of pasta, and he started grabbing fistfuls and chowing down right away. He's half Italian, so I guess it's in his blood. After a few good handfuls, though, he was ready to play, and started whipping noodles at me and my daughter. Because he's an uncoordinated baby, though, he ended up flipping them back onto his own head, which cracked up his sister, and when she laughs, he laughs. To be honest, I didn't end up throwing too much food at him tonight, mostly because he was doing my job for me, but also because I just got caught up on watching my kids play together. He still got ridiculously messy, though. Afterwards, I put him right in the tub, but he was like an Italian bath bomb. The water was orange and had all the little flakes of herbs and Parmesan cheese, so I had to drain it and start again. While I gave him a bath, my husband started the task of cleaning up the high chair and its surroundings. He shouted, "How did he get spaghetti in the lights?" Apparently there were noodles in the light thing that hangs down above our table. I forgot what it's called. There was some on the wall, but mostly just on the floor, and on the baby. All in all, though, it was totally worth it. Alrighty guys, I'm going to leave that one there, and that's it from me today. I hope you guys enjoyed those stories. Thanks for making it to the end, and I'll see you all in the next video. Have a good day. Cheers.